All right, guys. So Phil's not here today. It's the weekend. We have to get this M6 done. There's so much crap here needs to be done. It's scary. So I thought, well, instead of just fixing this thing and just not doing it, like not recording anything at all, let's go and record stuff. Let's use the phone for right now. I'm just going to show you some basics of this car as we're putting it back together. Now, what we've done is we replaced the hub gear. Now, where's she at here, boys? She has some summer teeth going on. You can see there's 2 teeth broken off on the hub. So I had to replace that. But that's not that easy to replace. We noticed we got our little suitcase of new crush washers out. You have to go up in here. You got to pull all the belts off. I'm bringing the light in a little closer here. So you got to pull the belts off. We have all the belts off. You got to slip out the harmonic balancer. And up here, let's see if I can even get in there, show you. So see those bolts right there? That's like the big center bolt's like a dummy bolt. It's like a 32 mil. You got to take those, what are they, 13s out? Maybe they're 10s, I think they're 13s. They're 13s, around that. And it's like a little cap that comes off. And underneath that, it has E-Torx. So up here you see, we got our timing pin in the top because it couldn't break the E-Torx loose without having the timing pin in, which in fact we have to loosen, or we just put it back on. You have to remove this big banjo bolt that goes to the power steering pump. So I just got it back on there. It's not tight because it had to know where to turn this to be correct, right? And this is still a little bit bent out of whack because this is hanging down. We'll have to make sure we're all done that is not hitting the harmonic balancer at all. And that is good to go. So as far as setting the Vanos pump, we have our little gauge on here. It always takes so long to set this up. It has a magnet with a switch that sticks on the bottom of the harmonic balancer. It goes over here. And it's actually changed just since I've been sitting here. I'm gonna zero this back out. This should be a point. See, it's so touchy. All right, flip it that way. Oh hell, what the hell? I bumped it. Is what it? Yeah. Put it back on there. Zero it out. It's hard to even zero this mess. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Anyhow, it's supposed to be a 0.008 mil. What the hell? There. What a touchy, finicky thing. So it has to be a millimeter. It has to be 0.08. It's a proper setting for it. So how we accomplish that, this has 3 bolts that holds the Vanos pump in. 2 are up here, one's right there, one's right there, and one is right there. So we just barely snug those up, and we take our little rubber mallet or our dead blow and gently tap this way. You put it all the way to the left, get it set at 0, hit the reset, the 0 button on your gauge. You tap it this way until it gets to 0.08, then you lock it down. You gotta do that about 3 times. Every time you lock it down, it changes. So what we need to do at this point in time, our oil pump's back on. I wanna double check this. We're gonna double check everything, obviously. We're gonna double check the sprocket, and we need to put our banjo bolt back on right here with new crush washers and all that stuff. And then we'll give everything a once over again. Some of you guys asked the last video, why did I not use plastic gauge on this? This is a factory engine. This is a low mileage S85. There is no issue with that at all. And all the bearings are ACL stuff. I mean, we could have, I guess, all standard bearings. And, you know, we never had any issue ever. We're tightening everything down. Everything seemed to go fine. I mean, if it really wants to pacify you guys, you could take it back apart, one back off and check it. But at this point in time, we're splitting hairs, right? So our goal today is to put that banjo bolt on, recheck all the bolts on our oil pump system here, make sure everything is good and tight, properly tight. Then we're going to reinstall that bad boy. But first, we need to severely clean that out. So yeah, let's get that done now. All right, so here we are. Got the oil pan cleaned up. You can see there's nothing, I don't know if you can see on this camera or not, nothing down inside there. Wiped all that side off. Put our L-ring gasket on here. And hold on. So close, and he won't zoom out. L-ring gasket on. We double checked everything up here. We put our Vanos line on. Put our new oil rings, or not oil rings, or crush washers on. We checked all the bolts, the cog wheel for the main pump. Made sure that was torqued. Made sure this was torqued. All the bolts holding the main pump. The bolts, 2 bolts holding the lines for that back there. And you notice here, you can put this on by hand, but you're probably gonna mess the gasket up. Look at the mess on the floor back there. Holy crap. Gotta clean this place. On the transmission jack here, one person, the transmission jack's the way to go. If you're doing this on your back on the ground, we'll say a prayer for you. You can't use a regular jack to do this, or if you have a transmission floor jack, not for a lift, that'll also work. What's nice about this jack, it'll tilt whichever way you want it to line the pan up. I think the only thing left to do is to just wipe the mating surface off here. No need to degrease every little bit of it. There's no sealer goes on it, so it doesn't matter. We'll put it up there. We'll get all the millions of bolts in it and see how that goes. This is not a hard job by any means. What makes it difficult is all the banjo fittings, all the hard lines. They're just a pain in the ass to get to all those, and you just spend a lot of time fiddling with hard lines, especially the power steering stuff. You'll see once you put this back in, those are definitely the hardest 2 lines in the car to get to. And Phil's not gonna be here for that, so that's gonna be Nathan by himself doing that job. But like I said, valence pump's all set, everything's set up. We'll kind of stick this stuff back out of the way before we put the pan up there, see how it goes. All right, get you guys out of that. There it is. You can see, I'm probably gonna time lapse that. We just got one on each side. Everything's lined up. Before you tighten any of them, obviously you gotta put them all in. You gotta tighten them from the middle out. So you start, once all the bolts are in, we'll start tightening them from this side, and work our way out to the ends. Obviously, if you can't remember where you took the bolts out at, all your torques go in the rear by the transmission, and there's one little Torx that goes right there. All the rest are 10 mil. You have a couple longer ones in the front, but all the rest are 10 mil, all the same size. Now, what we got to do is replace this before we go any further. I have a brand new one of those, just so we don't forget. We'll put a new crush washer on it and tighten it. Last thing I'm gonna do is fill it full of oil. That's not tight, or fill it full of oil and forget to put the new one on it. And then there we go. So I'm gonna spend about 40 minutes putting all these bolts in. We're getting closer. All right, so we are ready to start this bad boy. Obviously the subframe's sitting over there. There is no belts in the front, so it's not gonna pump power steering fluid over the place. We can't let it run for long. There's no coolant pumping. The intakes are off. It should start. You'll throw a check engine light for the mass airflow, but it'll still start and run fine for what we're going to do it for. We need to make sure nothing else is hitting the crank pulley. It's not. Everything's done up underneath the car. The oil pumps are on the side of the oil pan. We have a brand new man filter in it. We got our Motul 8100. We'll have to do that before we put any power steering fluid in it, but not right now. Before I put these intakes on, we're also going to change the spark plugs. to the ruthenium NGKs. And yeah, so we're just gonna start up, make sure it's not got any kind of weird issue. So let's do it right now. Next question is, will the battery be dead? Probably. Neutral. Like the battery probably is dead. Oh no, I know what this. That power wire's not hooked up. Oh, the battery's almost too dead. Success. There's two things. The battery's almost dead. It barely starts. Now we're gonna have two noises here, and one noise is gonna be the secondary air. You can hear it screeching. It has that stupid filter on it. The one thing about those carbon fiber intakes, you're always gonna have that. And two, we don't have the secondary air valves on it. So there is a exhaust leak down on each side, and we can't put those on. Look at the tool situation. We can't put these on because we have to have them off to get the engine mount bolt in for the subframe. But there's no drips, no nothing. Everything looked really good. Obviously, check engine light for the mass airflow sensors not being plugged in, the fan not being plugged in. But I mean, hell, the engine sounded good. Other than the slight exhaust leak. There's no banging, no knocking, no nothing. These are loud engines no matter what. Like you're gonna have like drivetrain noise, just the way there's like a lot going on here. But yeah, overall, really happy with this. And I guess the next thing we have to do is fix these. And I tried my little hole saw, that will not do it. This is the one car we're gonna fix this. This is one thing we cannot pass off to the next owner. But these bolts on the bottom of here go through to like some kind of weird nut. And that nut is spinning in there. This one and that one. So we cannot take the skid plate off the subframe, which is going to be a problem for somebody at some point in time. So I think tomorrow I'll go out. This is just aluminum. I'm going to go ahead and drill this top hole bigger so I could actually get new those vice grips in there and hold that nut, spin it out. We'll probably put some kind of spacer in here with a longer bolt and have a nut up on top of it. Somehow, some way, shape, or form. We'll have to go to the hardware store and get stuff to make that work out. There we have our new seal kit put in our rack and pinion. But we could put this back under the car, no issue at all, but we're gonna screw the next owner. We don't wanna do that. And then the only other thing on this car is we never drove it. So we don't know how the transmission works. Hopefully it's good. That mileage should be good. We don't know how the tires are around. We don't know if the brakes are good. We do have new lower control arms for it. Thing stinks. Where the hell are they at right here? New lowers because the bushings are shot. The thrust arms are actually good on this car. Those were very close inspection. The thrust arms are actually also hard to find for this car. There's somebody done sway bar links on it already. It's got like some rusty mud stuff in the hub. Not sure what's going on with that. It's rust, not mud. But anyhow, that's it, guys. Another car that is on its way to being reborn. The resurrection, right? And we still have piston slap in the Figaro, and we still got to put this car back together. And we have Dwayne's car, and we have another car coming in from another viewer that needs just rod bearing maintenance. and something's wrong with the clutch on the SMG. And Dwayne's car is actually going to be a pretty easy deal. We're still waiting on an eBay thing to go through. I bought an engine. The guy flaked out. Had to file for a refund. I've not got the refund yet. Kind of letting that transpire before I order another one. And once we get his car here, we're not going to take it apart or pull it in until we have the other engine here on the engine stand with the new rod bearings in it, new rod bolts in it, and everything done. That's just going to be basically just an engine swap. It should be pretty simple. So probably won't spend a lot of time on that. And then also, we still have not got the Porsche on the lift or anything. The lift's been tied up, so I haven't been able to do that. But I need to figure out what's going on with the catalytic converters in this thing. They stink really bad. We may have to put some headers or something on this car, or even knock those out for temporary beans. It does have a $1,000 stainless steel exhaust on it, the catback exhaust. I hate to cut that up. The sound is not what I prefer, so we need to figure out the catalytic converter thing first, and then the wing does not work, does not go up or down. I haven't had time to even look at that. It's probably a relay. I need to go order the relay at the minimum. Other than that, this car is really, really, really good. There's a few things we've noticed. Let's turn into a Porsche video. We'll cut it off. A few things to notice does not have the heated seats, nor does it have lumbar, but it has the full-out sport seats. So this is more of like a track-oriented car with adjustable suspension, with sport mode. It's a sport chrono package. You can see the chrono. The chrono lives over there. Look at the bugs in the windshield. Drove it one time and it covered it in bugs. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna be it, guys. We'll be back very soon with some more M5 stuff, some Figural stuff, E46 stuff coming up. And that's it. Have a good day.